The church was full of white flowers cascading from every pew, white candles burning in tall gold holders that caught the afternoon light and threw it back in warm, trembling flickers across the faces of 100 people who had come to witness this moment. The air smelled of roses and something sweeter underneath, the particular sweetness of a thing long prayed for finally arriving. Blessing was at the end of the aisle. She did not know how she had gotten there, but only knew that she was standing and that her dress was the most beautiful, elegant thing she had ever worn. Ivory, not white, with delicate lace along the sleeves and a trail that moved behind her like a quiet promise. Her bouquet was cream and gold. Her heart was so full it almost frightened her. At the end of the aisle stood a man. The suit he was wearing was a double-breasted black suit that looked made just for him. She could not yet see his face clearly. The light was too bright, too golden, in a way that made the moment feel more significant than ordinary moment. But she could see his posture. However, there was something about the way he stood, steady and certain. The way a man stands when he's not nervous, because he had never been more sure of anything in his life. She took a step forward. The congregation rose. Her father's hand was on her arm, warm and solid and present, and she felt tears beginning to run down her cheeks. The good kind, the kind that come not from pain, but from the sudden, overwhelming reality of receiving something you had nearly stopped believing would come. She took another step, and another. The man at the end of the aisle turned towards her, and she was almost there, almost close enough to see his face, almost close enough to hear him breathe, almost close enough to finally know. The alarm went off at 5:47 a.m., 30 minutes before it was supposed to. "Oh my God," Blessing Umukoro said, almost sighing, while lying still in her bed for a long moment, watching the ceiling the way she always did when the year was new and her heart was not quite sure what to do with the fresh weight of another beginning. She tried to go back to sleep so as to continue the dream, but Lagos seemed to have other plans. The early keke riders revved their engines 2 streets over. The distant call of the Morezin drifted for the mosques near the market, mixing strangely with the cool morning air. And somewhere below her window, a neighbor, Mrs. Eze, was doing what she did every single morning, talking to her husband at a volume carefully designed for the entire building to hear.
"Papa Lawal, I will not take that nonsense. You better stand up."
Blessing did not move. She was 34 years old. She had been 34 for 11 days, and already he sat on her chest differently than 33 had, heavier, more insistent, like a question she has been postponing that had finally decided it would no longer wait, and her dreams are no longer helping. Every time she woke up from such dreams, left her feeling more and more pressured. She reached for her journal on the nightstand, a cream-colored hardcover she had bought herself for her birthday. On the first page, in her own careful handwriting, she had written a verse before she went to sleep on the 31st of December. "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Isaiah 40:31. She had written it because she needed to believe it. She had written it because 6 years of praying for the same thing over and over had begun to sandpaper her faith down to a thinner and thinner edge. And she was afraid that if she didn't grip tight enough, she would wake up one morning and find that she no longer believed at all. 6 years. 6 years of watching her friends receive what she had asked God for. 6 years of being a bridesmaid, literally, physically, 7 times, wearing 7 different dresses, holding 7 different bouquets, smiling in 7 different weddings, while something unnamed but very real broke quietly inside her chest. 6 years of Sunday services where the pastor prayed over the couples and she sat in her seat alone, lifting her hands, pressing her eyes shut, saying the right words, meaning them mostly, and sometimes, on the days when she was most sincere with herself, not meaning them at all. She opened the journal, picked up a pen, flipped to a new page and wrote, January 1st, Lord, I am 34. The weight is becoming more heavier, and I'm still asking for this very one thing. I don't even know what else to say to you today. I don't know how to ask again without sounding like someone who doesn't trust you. But I'm afraid, not of being alone. I think I'm afraid of being forgotten. I'm afraid that everyone else's story is being told and mine is stuck in the same paragraph that it has been in for years. Please hear me. Please see me. I love you. Lord, you know I do. I am just tired. Wiping a little tears from her cheek, she closed the journal, got up, made herself tea, stood by the window of her one-bedroom flat in Surulere, and watched the new year come fully awake outside, noisy and indifferent, and relentlessly alive, and she prayed, a wordless prayer, just the lifting of her heart like an open hand. Then she got dressed for church. Because that is what Blessing Umukoro did. Even when she was tired, when faith sat heavier than it used to, she showed up. Her full name was Blessing Ngozi Umukoro, and the two names had always fought gently against each other. Her mother was Igbo and her father Usoko, but they reside in Lagos, and she had grown up navigating that beautiful tension with a practiced grace. She was the firstborn of 4, 34 years old, working as a marketing executive at a mid-sized consumer goods company on Victoria Island. Her immediate younger brother, Emeka, was 31. Her sister, Chisom, was 28 years. Their last-born, Ogene Karo, was 25. Her job as a marketing executive was a job she was genuinely good at, bright, persuasive, beautifully packaged, but one that required her to always be on, which was exhausting for a woman who often felt underneath all the packaging, like someone who was still quietly figuring out who she actually was. She was not unhappy. She was not one of those women who sat in the dark, eating her feelings and waiting for a man to come make her life begin. She had friends, she had work, she had church and goals and a full and textured existence, but there was a space in it, a particular shaped space that she had been aware of for years, and the awareness of it had recently begun to ache in a way that was harder to ignore. And this is one thing she had learned to carry with a dignity that looks from the outside remarkably like contentment, but complicated on the inside.
Hi, welcome to Quiet Bloom. My name is Success and I'm the face behind Quiet Bloom. Do well to enjoy our stories, like, share. If you have any observation, you can always drop it in the comment section.
Her sister called on a Tuesday evening in February, and Blessing was in the middle of chopping tomatoes for stew when the name lit up her phone screen. She
Lord,
wiped
you
her
are so
hands on a
good.
kitchen cloth
Blessed be your
and picked up,
name.
humming the tail end
Yes,
of a
Lord.
worship song
Blessed
under
be
her
your
breath.
name.
Eme, how far?
Sister Blessings, Emeka is not the one who's calling. It's me, Chi. I call. I have something to tell you.
Oh, Chi, how are you?
I'm good, girl.
What is it that you wanted to tell me?
Kunle proposed last night. I said yes.
The kitchen went very quiet. The tomatoes she was cutting sat on the cutting board, red and half chopped. Outside, someone was playing Afrobeats from a generator-powered speaker, something bright and entirely unconcerned with the interior weather of Blessing's Umukoro's heart.
Chi, I know I wanted to tell you first. Before Mama, before anyone, I wanted you to hear it from me because you're my sister and I love you and I don't want this to...
No, Chisom, don't do that. Don't apologize for your blessing. That's not fair to either of us.
Sister Blessing.
Chi, What did I just say? I am happy for you, baby sis. I don't see my baby girl now becoming a married woman. Congratulations, girl.
Even as she said these words, she couldn't understand how she meant it. Every single word. That was the terrible, complicated thing. She genuinely meant it. Chisom was 28 and she loved Kunle, and he loved her back in the uncomplicated, visible way that love should be. Blessing loved her sister enough to hold both things at once, joy for Chisom and the grief for herself.
Baby girl, tell me everything. Did he go on his knees?
Ah, sis. Of course you don't trust me again.
Good. A woman should never have to beg a man to go down on his knees to propose.
Chisom laughed, so did Blessing. And she listened for 45 minutes, asked all the right questions, laughed at the right moment, said all the things a good big sister was supposed to say. When she hung up, she sat down on her kitchen floor, not dramatically, just suddenly, her legs choosing that moment to stop being useful. She pressed her back against the cabinet and she cried her eyes out. At some point, not knowing why she was crying so bad, because this was good news, but all the same, she allowed the tears to flow. After crying for a while, she wiped her face, finished the tomatoes she was chopping, and prepared her stew in silence. The only sound that filled the atmosphere was that of her boiling pot of stew. Her mind had gone on a solo trip. She didn't bother tasting the stew to know if the ingredients were okay. When she was done cooking, she sat at her kitchen table and ate her food alone, while she talked to God, not praying exactly, not formally, just talking. The way you talk to someone you are not sure is listening, but whom you cannot bear to stop speaking to.
She's 28 years old, Lord. You know, right? She's 6 years younger than me. 6 years. What does that mean? What am I supposed to do with that?
There was no answer. There really was in those particular moments, but there was something, a warmth that graced her heart that most definitely was not due to the stew. A stillness that was not merely the absence of sound, and she held onto it the way you hold onto a railing in the dark, not because you see where it leads, but because it is solid and it is there. She picked up her phone and called her friend Adeze.
Ada, are you free? For you, always. What happened? Chisom is getting married. Girl, I'm coming. Boil water for tea.
Adeze Okafor had been Blessing's friend since their university days, when they had shared a hostel room in their second year and discovered that they had similarities, fiercely faithful, quietly struggling, committed to being honest about both. Ada was 33, unmarried, a pharmacist, and she had what Blessing privately called the grace of the truly surrendered, not the perform piece that some women wore like a costume, but something quieter and more hard-won, a genuine resting in God that Blessing both admired and could not quite locate in herself. Adeze arrived in 40 minutes, which in Lagos traffic was nothing short of miraculous. She came through the door with a granite and a thermos of hot chocolate, and the particular expression she wore when she was prepared to sit with someone in their pain without trying to resolve it prematurely.
Babe, tell me, what's the issue?
Blessing started divulging everything to her, not just about Chisom's proposal, but about how this season has been for her, the constant pressure, about the 6 years that felt to 9 like they might stretch into 7 and 8 and indefinitely.
I'm not questioning God. I know He's faithful. I've seen it. It's just, why this one? Why wait? What is He doing?
I don't know.
Which is exactly why Blessing loved her. She did not wish for a platitude. She did not say, God's timing is perfect, or your husband is on his way. She just said, I don't know. And Blessing was grateful for that, because she had heard those words too many times.
But can I tell you what I've been thinking about lately?
Yes, you can.
You know how a fully grown tree looks, Polol? The massive ones. The ones that survive every storm.
The root system underground can be as wide as the branches are above ground, sometimes wider. You walk past a tree and you see what's above the surface.
The branches, the leaves, the shade. But underneath, there's this whole enormous architecture of roots that you can't see. That's what actually holds the tree up. That's what makes it able to survive. Maybe the waiting is where the root system grows.
Not visible, not Instagram worthy, but necessary.
Blessing turned this over quietly, a small escaping her lips.
That's beautiful, Ada, and profound. I just wish I was a tree that already had her roots grown.
Ada laughed, Blessing laughed, and the laughter, in a way, made her feel lighter.
Babe, I understand. You will get there, don't worry.
Blessing's story won't be complete without talking about the men that passed through it. She had done the work of examining this. She had sat down with it in prayers, talked it through with Ada, and once with her pastor's wife, who had listened with such attentive silence that made Blessing feel truly heard for the first time in years. There were 5 of them, 5 different kind of, not the right one. She was 28 when she met Solomon Bello. He was the worship leader at her church, tall, with a voice that could make you believe in God from the back row, and an earnestness about his faith that she found irresistible. He quoted scripture constantly. He prayed before every meal, during it, and sometimes after. He called her his Proverb 31 woman within 3 weeks of meeting her, and she, who had been waiting for someone who loved God, thought, wow, this is him.
From the moment I saw you in the congregation, I told myself that is a Proverbs 31.
God confirmed it to me, Sister Blessing.
A lot to say after 3 weeks, Brother Solomon.
When God speaks, you don't delay.
Blessing laughed nervously. She didn't answer, but she had smiled, and that smile said maybe. What she did not see immediately, but slowly began to unveil itself over 9 months of dating Brother Solomon, was that Solomon's spirituality had become a very elegant way of avoiding responsibility. He prayed fervently for a car, but would not save towards one. He believed God for a promotion, but arrived late to work consistently. There was this particular time when his rent was due, and guess what he did?
My landlord is just doing too much. My situation is purely temporary. The enemy is just trying to delay my breakthrough, and they will not succeed. Can you lend me some money?
Solomon.
I will pay you back. A woman of faith wouldn't let a man of God suffer. The word says,
Don't preach to me. You have a job. Why not save toward the things like this you know you will always need to pay for? And if I can remember clearly, the last money I borrowed you, you are yet to pay me back.
I told you I will pay when I have the money. I feel like you're attacking me right now.
I'm only asking you a question and stating the obvious.
She had prayed about this character of his, fasted about it even, genuinely asked God whether she was being too critical, and if he could change in the future. But after 9 months of dating Brother Solomon, she quietly, painfully ended the relationship. She didn't tell a lot of people. She didn't want the I told you so's. She just carried it alone, the way she had learned to carry most things. After Solomon came Femi Ladipo, a deacon, educated, quietly handsome, a man who never shouted, but had a way of making her feel in small daily increments that her intelligence was an inconvenience. He wanted her quieter, softer, more agreeable. The day she disagreed with his driving route, he rewarded her with 2 days of cold silence. He said he wanted to teach her a lesson. She saw this pattern repeat itself consistently. When she heard things, he told her that women like her ended up alone. She went home that day. She had the most heated prayer of her life, part worship, part argument with God. Then she slept, woke up, and went to work like nothing had happened. Then there was Tony, not a church boy, and she knew it going in. He made her laugh in the easy, unguarded way she rarely laughed. But 4 months into the relationship, she was scrolling on his Instagram on a Sunday afternoon and found a woman in his kitchen, wearing his shirt, making breakfast. When she confronted him about this, he said she was his cousin, which she initially believed. But she later found out that the lady was not his cousin, but his serious girlfriend, and she was his side chick. The day she ended the relationship, he called her sanctimonious. That very word stung her, but she had forgiven him and has been praying for him on and off since then. Then came Brother Chukwuemeka. He was presentable, respected, always in the front row for prayer, but behind closed doors, a different person entirely. A man who expected her to clean his flat without asking, borrowed money and called repayment a character flaw, and deployed scripture like a weapon whenever she pushed back. The day she picked up her bag and walked out, it told her she was too emotional, too proud, not ready for a serious relationship. She stopped at the door, turned, and said,
A mature woman doesn't run from difficulty, but she also doesn't stay in a room where difficulty is just another word for being treated poorly and told to be grateful for it.
She left and carried the weight of that one quietly too. The fifth was the one she almost stayed with, which made him in some ways the most complicated. James Obi was 38 years, a financial analyst, not born again, but deeply decent in the way that make you reconsider every assumption you have ever made about what decency requires. He was the kind of man who stopped to help strangers change tires on the highways, remembered the name of wait staff and thanked them, who listened when she spoke with a quality of attention she had rarely experienced. They had dated for 7 months. He respected her faith without sharing it, never pressured her, never made her feel strange for what she believed. He came to church with her twice, stood respectfully through the service, said the right things after. But unfortunately, he was AS and she was AS too. They had found out when they both went for a routine medical checkup together, the proactive kind, the kind people do when they are beginning to quietly imagine a future. The result came out shortly after their sample had been collected, and she stared at the paper and felt the word tint quietly on its axis. AS and AS, a 1 in 4 chance of having a child with sickle cell disease, the cruel mass of a love that could produce a child who would suffer. She had told him in the cafe a few days after how she couldn't bear to bring a child into this world to suffer.
We can manage it, we can test during pregnancy. There are options. There's the option of bone marrow transplant.
James.
I love you. That doesn't change because of a blood type.
I know you do, and I love you too. But raising a child with sickle cell disease is not easy, and the bone marrow transplant is not cheap. It costs a lot of money. I don't think I will be able to live with myself seeing my child go through so much pain.
She had cried then in the cafe, in front of everyone, not caring who saw. She held his hand across the small table and said,
It's not just about us. It's about whoever we would bring into the world.
He argued gently. For 3 weeks they kept in touch while she prayed and he hoped. Then one evening, she sat in his car outside his apartment for an hour before going up, and she knew before she got to his door what she was going to say.
James, I think it's here we say goodbye. I pray you find someone who will love you dearly, like I did.
She said it simply, without drama, which somehow made it worse. He stood very still for a moment, then he wept, quietly, the way strong men weep. She drove home and did not cry the whole way, which frightened her. Then she got into her flat, sat on the bathroom floor and cried until her body had nothing left to give. She had loved James. She was not sure she had fully loved any of the others like that. And losing someone you genuinely love for a reason that had nothing to do with either of your failures is a particular kind of grief that had no clean name. That had been 8 months ago, and she was still carrying it. The pain woke her before her alarm did. It came the way it always did. Now, low and insistent at first, then spreading across her lower abdomen like something pressing from the inside out. She lay still for a moment, breathing through it, one hand pressed against her stomach, the way she had learned to do. The ceiling stared back at her.
Lord, why is this one so bad?
She had been ignoring the pain for longer than she would admit. It had started as what she told herself was a normal period pain, the kind that every woman she knew described, the kind that painkillers managed on a moderate day but the moderate days had now grown fewer. Over the past year, she had noticed that her period lasted longer than they used to. There were days she could not stand up straight from the cramping, days she felt bloated even when she hadn't eaten, a fullness in her lower abdomen that sometimes kept her awake at night. She had told herself it was diet. She had, on 3 separate occasions, started typing her symptoms into Google and stopped herself because she knew what Google might say and she was not ready to hear it confirmed by a screen. In March, the pain became bad enough that she had to leave a work presentation early. She had never done that. That was what finally drove her to make the appointment. Dr. Yetunde Adeleke's office was on the 3rd floor of a private clinic in Lekki, small and warm, with a potted plant by the window that had no business looking as healthy as it did. The doctor herself was a woman in her mid-40s, with reading glasses she wore pushed up on her forehead and a way of speaking that made you feel like she genuinely had time for you, like your worry mattered as much to her as it did to you. She asked her some questions, examined her, and asked her
I'm going to need
do
you to
an
lie down on
ultrasound
the
scan.
couch, please. Okay, I'm just a bit nervous. Don't worry, just pull your shirt up for me. Is everything all right?
The results came out 1 hour later, and she handed it over to Mrs. Adeleke, who looked at it quietly, and that made her nervous. Dr. Adeleke pulled her shelf from behind the desk and placed it beside Blessings, a small deliberate gesture.
Tell me straight. Please, what did the results say? You have fibroids, Miss Blessing, multiple ones. The largest is about 6 centimeters.
Blessing heard the word and felt it land, not with shock exactly, but with the dull, settling weight of something she had suspected and had been hoping was wrong.
How serious is it? Let me explain it properly, because fibroid is one of those words people throw around without actually explaining. And that's not fair to you. Fibroids are non-cancerous growths. They are benign tumors that develop in or around the uterus. They're made of muscle and fibrous tissue. Some women have tiny ones and never even know because there are no symptoms at all. Others, like you, have ones large enough to cause significant disruption to daily life.
Why did this happen? Did I do something to cause this?
No. Miss Blessing, you didn't. That is the very first thing I want you to hear.
Fibroids are incredibly common. Research suggests up to 80% of women will develop them by the time they reach 50. And studies consistently show that. Black women are commonly affected. We tend to develop fibroids earlier. They tend to grow larger, and our symptoms tend to be more severe.
Then why does it happen? This is not something you brought on yourself, honestly. We don't fully understand it yet, and I'd rather say that than pretend otherwise.
What we do know is that hormones play a major role. Fibroids are fueled by our body hormones called estrogen and progesterone, the hormones that regulate your cycle. When their levels are high, fibroids tend to grow. When they drop, like during menopause, fibroids usually shrink on their own. We also know family history matters. If your mother or sisters have had fibroids, your risk is higher.
And there are links to diet and lifestyle, though that science is still evolving. My symptoms, the pain, the bloating, the heavy periods, is all of that from this? Most likely, yes. And I want to say something clearly. You are not being dramatic. Heavy prolonged periods, severe cramping, pelvic pressure, bloating, feeling full in your lower abdomen, back pain. These are all classic fibroid symptoms. They are also things women are routinely told to just endure. None of that is normal. None of that is something you simply have to live with. You were right to come in.
Something in Blessing's chest loosened slightly, the particular relief of being believed.
What about fertility?
Dr. Adeleke did not look away. She did not soften the truth more than was necessary, but she delivered it with care.
This is the part I want you to really hear. Because I don't want to frighten you unnecessarily. And I also don't want to minimize something that matters. Fibroids can affect fertility, and it depends on where they are located. Let me walk you through the types, because not all fibroids behave the same way.
She reached for a small diagram on her desk, simple and clear.
Forgive some of the terms I will be using. So fibroids can be located in these following areas of the uterus. Submucosal fibroids, they grow inside the uterine cavity itself. These are the ones most likely to interfere with implantation of the female egg after it has been fertilized. They can also cause improper attachment of the fertilized egg, and they significantly increase the risk of miscarriage. Intramural fibroids, these ones grow within the wall of the uterus. These can also affect fertility if they're large enough to distort the uterine cavity or interfere with blood flow. Subserosal fibroids, they grow on the outer surface of the uterus. These are generally less likely to affect fertility directly, though they can cause other symptoms like back pain and pressure. Which type do I have? That's precisely what we need to determine with a more detailed scan. What I can tell you now is that 6 centimeters is significant, and the exact location matters enormously for understanding what we're dealing with and what we do next. And the risks to actually getting pregnant or carrying a pregnancy, that depends on the type and the location. Fibroids can make conception more difficult, increase the risk of miscarriage, and in some cases, increase complications during pregnancy, things like preterm labor or the baby being poorly positioned. I want to be honest with you about that, but blessing, many women with fibroids conceive and carry healthy pregnancies to term. This is not the end of that road. It is a complication, not a closing door. And the earlier we understand what we're working with, the more options we have.
What are the options?
Several, and I want you to know all of them. For women with mild to moderate symptoms, medication can help. Hormonal treatments that lower estrogen levels, which can reduce fibroid size temporarily and manage bleeding and pain. Not a permanent fix, but real relief. Then there are procedures. Myomectomy is a surgical procedure to remove the fibroids while preserving the uterus, usually the preferred surgical option for women who want to have children. There is also uterine fibroid embolization, UFE, a non-surgical procedure where we cut off the blood supply to the fibroids so they shrink. It is less invasive than surgery, good outcomes for many women. And then there is hysterectomy, removal of the uterus, which is definitive, but is generally only recommended when other options haven't worked, or when the woman is done with childbearing. That is not where we are with you.
So I have real options.
Yes, you have real options, and you have time to make a thoughtful decision, but not unlimited time. Which is why I'm glad you came in now. You are 34. Fibroids tend to grow during the reproductive years. The sooner we have a clear picture and a plan, the better positioned you are.
The room heard a particular kind of silence after that, not empty, but full of everything Blessing was quietly absorbing.
I kept telling myself it was nothing, that I was overreacting. I know most women do. We are taught to minimize our strong, to keep going, to not make a fuss, and we lose years to conditions that could have been caught and managed much earlier. But you came in, you advocated for yourself. That's something. What do we do next? A detailed scan, a saline sonogram, possibly an MRI, to map the fibroids precisely, understand exactly where they are, how many, and their relationship to your uterine cavity. Then we meet again and talk through the options based on what we find. Together, you are not navigating this alone. And Blessing, eat well, rest well, and go easy on yourself. Your body is dealing with something real. Give it some grace.
Blessing stood as well. Blessing drove home in a silence so complete, it felt like something physical pressing against her from the inside. She sat in traffic on the bridge and watched the water far below and thought about all the things she had been careful not to think about. The biological clock that people mentioned as though it was a moral failing. The statistic she had never read because reading them would make them real. The fear, the deep midnight level fear that she would get the husband and lose the chance at the children. She thought, Lord, I have been faithful. I've been waiting. I have done everything right, and my body is. She stopped the thought and continued the drive home. When she got home, she made tea, sat at her kitchen table for a long time. Then she opened her Bible. She did not open it to a verse about healing. That would have felt too purposeful, too much like trying to manufacture comfort. She opened it to somewhere in the middle, the way she sometimes did when she did not know what she was looking for. She landed in the book of Ruth, in the scene where Naomi told her daughters-in-law to go back to their own people, where she says, "The hand of the Lord is gone out against me." Blessing read those words and felt unexpectedly understood. Naomi had felt this too, that particular anguish of a faithful woman who could not reconcile what she believed about God with what she was experiencing, and God had not struck that from the record. He had left it in. He had allowed the honesty of it to remain. She closed the Bible, prayed a short and raw prayer.
You know my body, Lord. You made it. I am giving you this too. I don't understand it, but I am giving it to you. I need
She
to
texted
talk.
Ada.
Not urgent, but soon.
Ada replied
Tomorrow
in
morning,
3 seconds.
My place. I'll make scrambled eggs.
Blessing put down her phone, went to bed and slept. The sleep of someone who had handed everything over and is learning slowly to let the hand stay open. 3 weeks later, she told her mother on a Sunday after church, in the careful way she had rehearsed. Her mother, Mrs. Patricia Umukoro, was a woman of great faith and great opinions, and those two things did not always sit comfortably together.
Blessing fibroid. Since when? Why didn't you tell me immediately? I needed to process it first, Mama. Process what? You should have been taking better care of yourself. Since you moved to Lagos on your own, you don't take care of yourself, and this is why you need a husband. Mama, let's not do that. I am just saying that if you had someone, fights are not because I don't have a husband. Please.
Her mother backed down a little, but the look on her face was layered, complicated, composed of equal parts of love and anxiety, and something Blessing had spent her whole life trying not to take personal. That look stayed on her on the drive back to Lagos. It settled around her shoulders the way the pressure always settled, heavy and familiar, and very hard to put down. The day for Chisom wedding finally came, and it rained that morning. The Igbo side of the family declared this is a blessing. The Usoko side agreed it was a blessing as well. And Blessing stood in the vestibule of the church in her choral bridesmaid dress, the 7th such dress she had worn, the 7th time she had stood in this precise role, watching the rain come down outside the glass doors, telling herself quietly, "You will get through this day. You had gotten through days like this before." Chisom was so radiant, genuinely, incandescently radiant, the way some women are on their wedding days, as though the happiness had nowhere else to go but out through her skin. Kule stood at the altar with an expression so open and unguarded that even Blessing, holding her bouquet with careful hands, felt something warm moved through her at the sight of it. It reminded her of the dream she had, if only she had seen the face of the man. She let out a little arms through her lips and then sighed. This was what she had been praying for herself, not the ceremony, not the dress, but the look on the groom's face, that sanctity. She got through the ceremony as well as the reception. She danced with the other bridesmaid and laughed at the right moment and ate the food and spoke to a relative, and was by every external measure a woman having a good time at her sister's wedding. It was at the table, during the cutting of the cake, that her auntie Ngozi appeared at her elbow with a glass of Chapman and an expression of deep personal concern.
Blessing, my dear, you are next, you know. God willing, Auntie.
Blessing smiled, and she had the smile ready. She had been storing it for this exact moment since she arrived.
God willing? No, God already willing. We are the ones that need to be willing.
Yeah.
What is happening? Is it that the men are not coming, or you are the one chasing them away? I am trusting God, Auntie. Trusting God is not the issue. Are you making yourself available? Sometimes you young girls, you are too serious, too career-focused. A man wants a woman who will have time for him. I heard you are having health issues. Fibroid, is it? You need to sort that out quickly, before it causes problems. A man doesn't want to marry problems.
And there it was, the quiet knife, inserted so smoothly, with such maternal concern, that it was almost possible to pretend it was not a knife at all. Blessing excused herself, and she walked to the bathroom at the end of the hall. The smaller one, the one less likely to have anyone in it, she stood at the sink and ran cold water over her wrist, the way she did when she needed not to cry, somewhere she could not cry. She looked at herself in the mirror. 34. Cobra bridesmaid dress, 7th times. She said to her own reflection, quietly but out loud.
You are not a problem. You are a person, and your worth is not in your womb, or your availability, or what any table full of relatives thinks about your life. You are a person.
She dried her wrist, fixed her lipstick, went back and continued with the wedding. Later that night, when the venue had emptied, and Chisom and Kule had gone home, and the family was dispersing in various directions, her brother Emeka found her sitting alone at a table near the cleared dance floor. He sat down beside her without asking if the seat was taken.
Good evening, Sister Blessing. Are you okay?
Hi, Emmy. Yes, I am.
That's not a yes. I'm fine face.
She looked at him, a 31-year-old brother, her most perceptive sibling, the one who had always somehow known when she was performing fine instead of being it.
I'm okay, just processing.
Auntie Ngozi got to you.
She means well.
She's annoying. Don't defend her. I heard what she said. And I want you to know something, Sister Blessing. When your day comes, and it is coming, I believe that I'm going to be the one standing at the front of that church ugly crying. Not because it's expected, but because I know what this road has cost you. And I am proud of you. Not when you're married, now. Right now. I'm proud of you now.
She covered her mouth with one hand. She did not cry, but it was close.
Thank you, Emmy.
Also, Auntie Ngozi's own marriage has had issues every year since 2009, so she should manage herself.
She laughed. It startled her, the laugh. How real it was, how full. And she held on to it as she gathered her bag and her shoes and walked out into the night, into the warm Lagos air, into whatever the next chapter was going to ask of her. She did not know yet what was coming, but she was still here, still standing, still somehow believing. And that in itself was nothing small.
I look forward to reading your comments. And also, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.